Sculpin, a Sargo-class submarine, was the first ship of the United States Navy to be named for the Sculpin. Her keel was laid down on the 7th of September 1937 at the Portsmouth Navy Yard in Kittery, Maine. She was launched on the 27th of July 1938, sponsored by Mrs. Bernice F. DeFries, wife of Rear Admiral Joseph R. DeFries, Sr., Chief of Staff to the Commander, Scouting Force, U.S. Fleet. The boat was commissioned on the 16th of January 1939, Lieutenant Warren D. Wilkin in command. Service history. Interwar period. While on her initial shakedown cruise on the 23rd of May 1939, Sculpin was diverted to search for Squalus. Citing her red smoke bomb and a buoy from Squalus, she established communications, first by underwater telephone and then by signals tapped in Morse code on the hull. Sculpin stood by while Falcon rescued the survivors, and rendered further assistance by familiarizing the divers with the configuration of her sister ship. Sculpin aided in the salvage of the sunken vessel by sounding out the approaches to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and preparing supplementary charts of the area where Squall was refloated. Following the assistance given in the recovery of Squalus, Sculpin engaged in type training off the Atlantic coast until transferred to the Pacific Fleet. Departing Portsmouth on the 28th of January 1940, she arrived at San Diego, California on the 6th of March. She sailed west on the 1st of April, arriving at Pearl Harbor on the 9th of March, where she was based for the next 18 months. Departing Pearl Harbor on the 23rd of October 1941 as part of Submarine Division 22, she arrived at Manila on the 8th of November. From Kuwait, she engaged in local operations and type training until war broke out. World War II. Departing Kuwait on the night of 8 to 9 December 1941, Sculpin, commanded by Lucius H. Chappell, Seawolf, escorted Langley and Pecos as far as San Bernardino Strait. She then took station off Lamon Bay in the Philippine Sea north of Luzon on the 10th of December. The weather was foul, the visibility abysmal. Quote, when Frederick W. Ward's Seawolf was moved, Sculpin took up her station off Apari, departing the 21st of December. 3 days later, a Japanese task force came ashore at the unguarded Lamon Bay. Off Apari, Sculpin detected a target but was unable to gain firing position. After Tarpon was twice pooped by heavy seas, Sculpin requested she be moved back to Lamon Bay, where she found weather so bad, she proved unable to attack Japanese shipping going in or out. Her first patrol terminated at Surabaya, Java, on the 22nd of January. Her second patrol, from 30 January 28 February, was in the Molucca Sea, east of Sulawesi. On the 4th of February off Kendari, Java, she fired 3 torpedoes at a Japanese destroyer. 2 hits inflicted heavy damage. After the war, Japanese records revealed Suzuka's had beached herself and was later salvaged. 3 nights later, Sculpin detected a Japanese task force made up of destroyers, cruisers, and an aircraft carrier. She fired on a cruiser, missed, and was detected and forced to dive. She escaped 4 hours later after a heavy depth charge attack by 6 destroyers. When she got loose, she radioed a contact report, which was not received. On the night of the 17th of February, she was detected while making a surface attack, firing 2 torpedoes each at a freighter and a destroyer, all of which missed, and she was forced to dive. During the ensuing depth charge attack, she sustained damage to her starboard main controller and starboard shaft. On the 28th of February, after 28 days at sea, she arrived at Fremantle for refit, falling under the command of Admiral Charles A. Lockwood. Her third patrol, from 13 March 27 April out of Fremantle, was in the Banda Sea, again off Kendari. Codebreakers got word a Japanese carrier force, Carrier Division 5, had arrived on the 24th of March. 2 days later, this force departed Kendari. Sculpin failed to spot them, but did fire 3 torpedoes at a freighter, all of which missed. The torpedoes were last seen running straight for the target, but apparently ran deeper than set. A similar incident occurred on the 1st of April in a night attack, and within a week, a third attack with 3 more torpedoes had also failed. Sculpin, like many of her sister submarines in the early days of the Pacific War, was plagued by malfunctions of the Mark Chapter 14 torpedo, which ran erratically at too deep, or of the Mark 6 exploder, which failed to detonate them correctly. The frustrated Sculpin returned to Fremantle on the 27th of April, after 45 unproductive days on patrol. Sculpin's fourth war patrol, from the 29th of May to the 17th of June, was in the South China Sea. On the 8th of June, she was unsuccessful in an attack on a cargo ship, again due to torpedo malfunction. A vigorous depth-charge attack kept Sculpin down while the cargo ship escaped. On the 13th of June, near Balabac Strait, she torpedoed a cargo ship which returned fire with her deck gun and commenced to limp away, turning on 2 accompanying tankers astern of the cargo ship. Sculpin made an attack but was forced to dive to prevent being rammed by one of the tankers. Surfacing at dusk, Sculpin pursued the cargo ship, but was again driven away by accurate gunfire from the Maru. She shifted her attack to a tanker, leaving the ship listing and making heavy smoke. However, no sinking was confirmed. Off Cape Varela, Indochina, early on the morning of the 19th of June, she torpedoed a cargo ship, making a hit forward of the stack. A heavy secondary explosion was heard, and a damaged vessel was last seen headed for the shore to beach, smoke pouring from her forward hatch. Sculpin returned to Australia on the 17th of July. She moved to Brisbane, under Ralph Waldo Christie, along with the rest of Submarine Squadron 2, in August. The waters of the Bismarck Archipelago were the theatre of her 5th patrol, from 8 September to 26 October. After reconnaissance off Ilenius and Montague harbours of New Ireland, Sculpin commenced her search for Japanese shipping. On the 28th of September, she scored 2 hits on a cargo ship, but was forced to dive as a Japanese destroyer raced to the scene. Sculpin was under depth-charge attack for 3 hours, during which she sustained minor damage. On the 7th of October, she made her first confirmed kill, Naminoe Maru, off New Ireland. Escaping the Japanese escort's countermeasures, she remained in the general area where, a week later, she intercepted a 3-ship convoy in the shipping lane between Rabaul and Kavieng, waiting until the escorting destroyer had made a patrol sweep to the opposite side of the convoy. Sculpin fired a spread of 4 torpedoes at Sumoyoshi Maru. While the blazing ship lay dead in the water and sinking, Sculpin slipped away. 4 days later, she inflicted minor damage on Dura with a hit forward of the bridge, but was driven off by the cruiser's gunfire. For the 54-day duration of her patrol, she was credited with 3 ships for 24,100 tons. Post-war, only 2 for 6,652 tons were confirmed. Departing Brisbane on her 6th war patrol, for the 18th of November 1942 to 8 January 1943, Sculpin worked her way past New Britain to the rich hunting grounds off Truk. After escaping a Japanese aerial attack on the 11th of December, she was put on the scent of a Japanese aircraft carrier by codebreakers. On the night of 17-18 December, she closed to 9 miles. One illuminated Sculpin with a searchlight as both commenced heavy fire with deck guns. The submarine went deep as the enemy depth charge attack and prolonged sonar search continued. The following night, she scored 2 hits on its anchor, with no sink credited, and none confirmed post-war. For her 52-day patrol, Sculpin had nothing to show. Sculpin arrived at Pearl Harbor on the 8th of January 1943, and steamed east to San Francisco, California, spending 3 months in overhaul at Mare Island. Returning to Pearl Harbor on the 9th of May, she departed Hawaii for her 7th War Patrol on the 24th of May and operated off the northwest coast of Honshu. Around midnight on the 9th of June, 3 days after arriving on station off Sofugan, she detected a Japanese task force consisting of 2 aircraft carriers with a cruiser escort. Sculpin rang up flank speed to close but was outdistanced. She made a desperate shot. 4 torpedoes from 7,000 yards. One exploded prematurely, giving her away, and she was unable to make a stern tube shot. 2 heavy underwater explosions were heard as the submarine submerged. On the 14th of June, she damaged a cargo ship but was forced to dive and run silent to avoid the vigorous countermeasures of the Mara's escorts. On the 19th of June, she destroyed 2 sampans by gunfire, leaving them aflame, with decks awash. During the remainder of the patrol, she spotted other possible targets, but they all hugged the shore, some running inside the 10-fathom line. The patrol terminated at Midway Island on the 4th of July. After 41 days, she was credited with no damage. Sculpin's 8th War Patrol, from 25 July 17 September, was off the Chinese coast in the East China Sea in Formosa Strait. On the 9th of August, she torpedoed and sank Seko Maru off the coast of Formosa. She evaded ASW patrol craft in the Taiwan Strait on 16-17 August. On the 21st of August, she intercepted an armed cargo ship and fired a spread of 3 torpedoes which ran hot, straight, and normal, but did not explode. Sculpin was immediately pounced upon by escorting destroyers and was forced to dive. The cargo ship escaped in the ensuing depth charge attack. A similar torpedo malfunction occurred on the 1st of September, when the splash of water resulting from the torpedo striking the target's hull could be seen, but no detonation occurred. The submarine escaped the immediate counterattack of the escorts, and after reconnaissance of Marcus Island, she returned to Midway Atoll after 54 days on patrol, earning credit for 1 ship of 4,500 tons. Following a brief overhaul period at Pearl Harbor, Sculpin, commanded by Fred Conaway, departed Hawaii on the 5th of November 1943. Ordered to patrol north of Truk, she was to intercept and attack Japanese forces leaving Truk to oppose the forthcoming invasion of Tarawa in the Gilbert Islands. Sculpin and 2 other submarines were to form a Wolfpack to make coordinated attacks on the enemy, with either Searaven or Apigon. Captain John P. Cromwell, who had been fully briefed on the Tarawa operation and was in the picture on Ultra, was on board Sculpin to coordinate Wolfpack operations. After refueling at Johnston Island on the 7th of November, Sculpin proceeded to her assigned station. On the 29th of November, Captain Cromwell was ordered to activate the Wolfpack. When the submarine failed to acknowledge, the message was repeated 48 hours later. The submarine was presumed lost on the 30th of December and stricken from the Naval Vessel Register on the 25th of March 1944. The account of Sculpin's final patrol was given by the surviving members of her crew, who were liberated from Japanese prisoner of war camps after VJ Day. On the 16th of November, she had arrived on station and had made radar contact with a large high-speed convoy convoy on the night of the 18th of November, making a fast end run on the surface to attack on the morning of the 19th of November. She was in firing position but was forced to dive when the convoy and its escorts zigged toward her. When the Japanese task force changed course, Sculpin surfaced to make another run, but was discovered by Yamagumo, which the convoy commander had left behind for just this eventuality, only 600 yards away. Diving fast, the submarine escaped the first salvo of depth charges. A second string of ash cans knocked out her depth gauge and caused other minor damage. She evaded the destroyer in a rain squall and around 1200 attempted to come to periscope depth. The damaged depth gauge stuck at 125 feet, so the submarine broached and was again detected. She immediately submerged and the destroyer attacked with a pattern of 18 depth charges. There was considerable damage, including temporary loss of depth control. As a result, Sculpin ran beyond safe depths so that many leaks developed in the hull. So much water entered that the submarine was forced to run at high speed to maintain depth. This made tracking easy for the Japanese sonar. A second depth charge attack knocked out Sculpin's sonar. The submarine's commanding officer, Commander Fred Conaway, decided to surface and give the crew of the doomed vessel a chance for survival. With her decks still awash, Sculpin's gunners manned the deck guns but were no match for the destroyer's main battery. A shell hit the conning tower and killed the bridge watch, including Conaway, and flying fragments killed the gun crew, including gunnery officer Lieutenant Joseph DeFries, the ship's sponsor's son. The ship's senior surviving officer, Lieutenant George E. Brown, ordered Sculpin abandoned and scuttled. Before he opened the vents, he informed Captain Cromwell, fearing he might reveal the plans for the Tarawa invasion under the influence of torture drugs. Cromwell refused to leave the stricken submarine, giving his life to escape capture. He was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor for his act of heroism and devotion to country. Sculpin's diving officer, Ensign W. M. Fiedler, along with 10 others, some doubtless already dead, joined him. 42 of Sculpin's crew were picked up by Yamagumo. One badly wounded sailor was thrown back in the sea because of his condition. The survivors were questioned for about 10 days at the Japanese naval base at Truk, then were embarked on 2 aircraft carriers returning to Japan. Chuyo carried 21 of the survivors in her hold. On the 2nd of December, the carrier was torpedoed and sunk by sailfish and 20 of the American prisoners perished. One man, George Rochek, was saved when he was able to grab hold of a ladder on the side of a passing Japanese destroyer and hauled himself on board. The other 21 survivors arrived at Ofuna Camp, Japan, on the 5th of December and, after further questioning, were sent to the Ashio copper mines for the duration of the war. Awards. Sculpin was awarded 8 battle stars for her service in World War II, in addition to the Philippine Presidential Unit citation. She ended the war with a total of 3 confirmed ships sunk for 9,835 tons. The Sculpin is the subject of an episode of the syndicated television anthology series, The Silent Service, which aired during the 1957-1958 season.